this is a rare condition. It affects approximately 25,000 people in the United States, and is caused by a benign tumor of the pituitary gland, which sits just under the brain in the center of the head. The problem is that this tumor produces too much growth hormone, and that can lead to a number of symptoms, including headache, joint pain, and fatigue. And if untreated, it can also lead to diabetes, elevated blood pressure, and severe damage to the heart, which can sometimes be life-threatening. But despite these issues, the good news is that we have some very effective treatments for acromegaly.
Yes, if you were asking me how I felt while living with acromegaly before being diagnosed and treated, I would say awful. I had really bad headaches. There were many nights I would go to bed simply because my head hurt so bad. I had sweat a lot. I had achy joints. And I had these symptoms for over 9 years before I was diagnosed and treated at the age of 50. I was at a regular doctor's appointment, and I was telling him how I felt like I was aging so fast. And the most frustrating part was the amount of money I was spending resizing my rings. He paused and he said, "What about your shoe size?" And that small little conversation was enough for him to run the test and find out that I truly had acromegaly.
So in almost all cases, we would start with surgery to try and remove as much of the tumor as possible. The problem is that it's very difficult to get all the tumor removed, and therefore almost half of folks will still have elevated growth hormone levels after the surgery. And then after that, we would typically use a medication. And until a few years ago, one of the most effective treatments that we used had to be given as an injection once per month. And as you can imagine, that was very painful, very inconvenient. Fortunately, in 2020, the FDA approved an oral version of these medications, oral octreotide or Mycapssa, and this can be taken as a twice daily capsule by mouth and is very effective to control the symptoms and signs of acromegaly. I should say that there are several options available to treat acromegaly, and you really want to sit down with your healthcare team and figure out what the best treatment choice for you specifically is.
Well, I've been on Mycapssa now for 3 years, and it's been very helpful in controlling and managing my acromegaly. Prior to that, I was on the injection, as he mentioned, that I had needed to schedule my entire life, work, family, and vacations around my treatment. With Mycapssa, I just take it on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. I take it again in the evening, working it around my meals as well as my bedtime. And I'm just really glad that I have found a medication that I can take and just go on with my life. Of course, this is my experience. Every person out there is different, but I'm just thankful that I have found something that works well for me. And for more information, I encourage you to go to mycapssa.com to learn more.